Hi, I'm Malkov, and this is the third episode of How to Live Without Docker for Developers. In the first two episodes, I showed you how to build an image using Buildah if you already have a Docker file. This is the link. And how to build an image from scratch using the native Buildah commands. And this is the link for the second episode. In both episodes, I run my containers using Podman, but I always used a local cache to take an image. Today, I'm going to show you how to push an image to a container registry using Buildah. I will push my image to a Docker Hub first, and then I will show you how to push it to a GitHub Packages, also known as a GitHub Container Registry. My series, How to Live Without Docker for Developers, will contain 4 episodes. So if you want to be notified when the last episode will be published, please do subscribe to my channel. If you want to quickly jump to a specific moment in this video, you can use the timestamps that are in the description. Alright, let's start. First, I will push my image to Docker Hub. But before I will type any commands to do that, I need to generate an access token. So I open my browser and I need to go to the Docker Hub. I type hub.docker.com, I click enter, and this is my personal, as you see, I'm logged in to the Docker Hub, so this is my personal page. And I open my account menu, I go to account settings, and inside account settings, I'm selecting the security. This is the place where I can actually generate the access tokens. And here, as you can see, there is a button that allows us to create a new access token. I click create new access token. I give a description, simple app, and I click create. And the Docker Hub will show us the username. So the username is my account name on the Docker Hub. So this is anmalkov. And then it will generate an access token. But be careful, this access token will be visible only once. So you need to copy it and store it somewhere, of course, in secure way. I click copy and close. Now I want to add some commands to our bash script. So I'm going to open a Visual Studio Code. To do that, I'm going to my command line. As you can see, I'm here in my folder when my application is stored. So I just simply type code dot, and this command, of course, will open the VS Code actually where we left. So I don't need to have a Docker file anymore. So I just close it. I want to include the commands to push my image to a container registry in this bash script at the end. But because I don't want to lose my access token, so I just want to store it here temporarily, because this is just a text file, and you know already that the storing the passwords or the keys or the access tokens in the clear text, it's not a good idea. But before I will type any commands to push my image, let's do some small change in our application to be able to see the difference. And to do that, I'm going to the pages and again to the index CHTML. I already did it in the second episode. So I just increased the version. So we are going to make a third version of our image. And that's why I just increased the version. So we will be able to see on the index page the change. Yeah, so this will be the new application for us. Okay, so I return to the bash script, and before typing commands to push my image, I want to modify my script a little bit. First of all, I'm not happy that I'm hard-coded the version number in the file. The better approach is to provide this version as a parameter when we execute this bash script. So that's why I cut this version from here and I paste it in the beginning of our file. To set the parameter to our variable, to the version, I just need to type $1. So it means that the first parameter that we will specify for our build shell script, it will be version. I also don't want to hard code any access tokens or username inside this script. So I will provide it also as a parameters for the script. To do that, I just specify two another variables. It's a registry username, which will be the second parameter for our script. And I want to specify the registry token as our third parameter. So to run this script, we need to provide three parameters. First parameter will be our version, the second parameter will be our registry username, and the third parameter will be our registry token. This will allow us to not hard code any values in the script file and provide them when we want to run our build process. All right, everything is ready to start typing commands to push an image. If you're already familiar with Docker, you know that Docker has Docker push command. And the same for Buildah. I'm scrolling down to the end of my file where I just stamp Buildah push. For the Buildah push command, we need to provide two parameters. First parameter is what we want to push, and the second parameter is destination, to where we want to push. So the first parameter for us will be our locally located image, which is created by this command. And as you can see, we assign a name, simple app, and the tag version to this image. So I'm going to type it, and because this image located locally, I'm just typing localhost, and then simple app, and then version as a tag. The second parameter for us is the destination. The destination for Buildah contains two parts. The first part is a transport, and the second part is a details. If you want to push your image to container registry, the transport will be Docker. And details will be a URL where we are going to push our image, which in my case, because I want to push my image to a Docker Hub, will be registry.hub.docker.com. Then we need to provide also a username to allow Docker understand to which account we want to push this image. And in my case, I keep my username in the variable registry username. And then we need to provide a name for the repository and the tag. Repository in my case will be simple app, and the tag will be our version. So this command will tell to Buildah, take our locally stored image, simple app tagged as version, and push it to a Docker hub by URL registry.hub.docker.com, where we specify also our username, account name in the Docker Hub, and then we just provide the repository name, which is the simple app, and then we provide the tag, which is version in our case. This command is almost ready. I didn't specify the credentials for this command, but I have to, because to push to a Docker Hub, you need to provide the username and the access token as well. So to do that, I add a flag creds. Creds contains a username, column, and then the access token. So I keep my username in my registry username variable, then I type column, and then I need to provide a token, and the token is stored in registry token variable. This actually it for this command. So we execute Buildah push, then we specify our credentials, which is our username and token, then we specify the image which we want to push and to where we want to push. But in my case, I want to assign a tag latest in my repository to the same image. So I just copy the same command and I just edit the tag to the latest. This allows me to assign the tag latest to the latest image that I push to my repository. So it means that if I push the first image, I will have the latest assigned to this version. If I push the second image, then the tag latest will be reassigned to the second version. If I push the third version, the latest will be reassigned to the third version. So this allows me to assign the latest tag to the latest image that I pushed to my repository. So the last thing that I want to add, I just want to add an echo command. And I will tell push to Docker Hub. Okay, so I remove also my access token from this file because it shouldn't be here, and I just store my file. Now, the only thing that left is to execute our bash script. To do that, I'm switched to my command line, and to execute a bash script, I need to switch to my Ubuntu machine. And as you remember from the second episode, because we are going to map our containers file system to the host file system, we need to be a super user. So I'm going to log in as a super user, and to do that, I'm going to execute command sudo with -i. I specify my password, and now I'm logged in as a super user. The first thing that I need to do, I need to change my local folder to my folder where I keep my application. And to do that, I do cd mnt c my apps demo simple app. And I clear the screen. I do ls, and I see the build shell script here. So I'm going to execute it, but this time we need to provide 3 parameters for this script. The first parameter will be the version. For the version, I provide 3.0.0. As you remember, we built 2.0.0 in the episode 2. Then we need to provide a username for our registry. In my case, it's anmalkov. For the third parameter, we need to provide an access token. I keep it in my clipboard, so I just paste it here. And I click enter. And as you can see, Buildah executed the .NET restore command. Then right now it's executing the .NET publish command. And we start pushing our image to the Docker Hub. And it's done. So right now, I will clear the screen. We can check what we have as our local images. Buildah images. And as you can see, we have simple app version 2 and then simple app version 3, which we just built. So the next thing is to check if it's available on Docker Hub. So I'm switching to my browser. And now if I go to just the Docker Hub and I just refresh a page, I see that I have a simple app now. If I click on the simple app, I see that I have 2 tags for this image. It's a tag latest and it's a tag 3.0.0. So I just return to my command line. What I wanted to do next, I want to start my container, but not using the local image. I want to take an image from the Docker Hub. And to do that, let's check what containers it's running at the moment. Podman, PS. We have no containers running. I'm going to remove my simple app 3.0.0 from my local cache. To do that, I'm executing the command buildah rmi remove image, and I specify fbc. This is the first characters from my full image ID, but it's enough to uniquely identify the image that I want to delete. I click enter, and as you can see, the Buildah immediately reply with full ID of this image. So it means right now, if I just execute Buildah images, I will not see the 3.0.0 anymore. All right. So right now, the only thing left that we need to execute the Podman run command. So I want to have detached container. And because I run in WSL2, I need to provide some additional flag just to avoid to seeing red messages. It's a C group manager equals C group fs events backend equals file. Then I want to provide the port that I want to use. In my case, let's use port 8090, for example. And then it maps to port 80 inside the container. And then we need to provide the image that we want to run. And the Podman, the same as Docker, use a Docker Hub by default. If you don't specify anything else, then I just need to provide my username, anmalkov, in the Docker Hub, and then repository name, and then the tag. I click enter. And as you can see, the image was downloaded from the Docker Hub, and the container is up and running with this ID. Let's clear the screen. I'm going to see what images I have now. So I do this by command Buildah images, and you see I have Docker IO and Malkov simple app with the tag 3.0.0. And I also want to see which containers are up and running now. To do this, I do Podman ps, and I see that my container based on this image is up and running for 47 seconds. So I just open my browser to check that my application working fine. I need to go to my local host and then the port 8090. I click enter, and I see my application version 3.0.0 up and running. So I'm just showed you how easy it is to push your images to a Docker Hub using Buildah. And if you're familiar with Docker, it's even easier. The next thing that I'm going to show you how to push an image to GitHub Packages. But first, I need to go to the GitHub and create a personal access token to be able to push an image to GitHub. So I'm open a new tab in my browser and I type github.com. I'm already logged in to the GitHub, so I need to just go to my account, click on settings, and in settings, I just scroll down a little bit to click on developer settings. And inside the developer settings, I just select the personal access tokens and click generate new token. Then we need to provide a password for the GitHub, and then we need to provide a name or a node for our token. In my case, I can say simple app. Then we need to select which scopes we want to provide to this access token. You can see scopes as just permissions. So I want to allow write and read packages. It's enough to push our images to our container registry. And I click generate token. The same story as with Docker Hub. The GitHub shows the token only once, so we need to copy it and store it for future use. Now, I will quickly switch to Visual Studio Code to store my token temporarily. The next thing that I need to check on the GitHub that actually the improved container support is enabled for my account. To do that, I need to go to my account menu and click Feature Preview, where I can see that improved container support is enabled for my account. I can disable it or enable it again. So if it's not the case for your account, you can enable it here. So I'm switching to Visual Studio, and here I need to change a little bit my script. First of all, GitHub Packages supports natively both formats for container images. It supports Docker Image Manifest v2 as well as OCI specification. As you remember, Buildah by default uses OCI specification format for its images. But we explicitly say to it in the episode 2 that we want to have the format Docker, so we want to use the Docker Image Manifest v2. It was needed because we want to push our image to Docker Hub first. But right now we are switching to GitHub Container Registry. It's not needed anymore. So I just remove this flag. It means that the Buildah will build the image using the OCI specification now. The next thing that I'm going to do, first of all, I want to change the echo to push to GitHub. To push our images to GitHub, we need to slightly modify the Buildah push command. The creds should stay the same, so we just specify the registry username and the registry token. We also want to push the same image, which is localhost simple app version, but we just need to change only the URL. For GitHub, it will be GHCR, so GitHub Container Registry.io. Then we need to provide registry username, and then what image we want to store. Yeah. So for us, it will be simple app.version. I just modify the same way the second URL. It's again ghcr.io, and then the registry username and the simple app latest. So I will use the same approach for the GitHub. So I also push the version tag to the GitHub and also assign the latest tag to the latest image that I push. And that's mainly it. So this is all the changes that you need to have. So I'm just copying my personal access token and I will save a file. And before I switch to the command line to execute the script, I want to add some additional change to my website. I'm going to go to the index.html page and change it again to the version 4, because this time we are going to build the version 4. So I save this file and I switch to my command line. This time I want to run again the build shell script with 3 parameters. So I type build shell. The first parameter will be our version, which is 4.0.0. The second parameter will be my username in GitHub, and it's anmalkov, and a personal access token for the GitHub. And I click enter. Again, the same story, buildah run.net restore command, then buildah run.net publish command, and then buildah will create an image and push it to a GitHub. And our image is pushed to the GitHub. So let's go to the GitHub and check. So I open the browser and I go to my repositories on GitHub. And I click on the packages. And I see that I have one package, which is the simple app pushed 1 minute ago by me. And if I click on the simple app, I can see the command how I can pull this image. And I have 2 tags here, 4.0.0 and latest. So right now I want to run my container based on this simple app image from the GitHub. To do that, I'm switching to my terminal. I clear my screen. Let's see what images I have. Buildah images. As you see, I have locally my simple app version 4.0.0 generated about a minute ago. Because I want to use an image from GitHub, I will remove my local image. To do that, I execute buildah rmi and then initial characters that uniquely identify our image. So 22 is okay. Now, again, I see what images I have and the 4.0.0 gun. Before I will run my container, I want to explain you a difference between GitHub and Docker Hub. All images that you push to Docker Hub by default will be public images. It means that everybody involved will be able to download it, to pull it. For GitHub, it's completely different. When you push your image first time to the GitHub, it will be a private image. So it means that it will be available only for you. So you can download it, you can pull it, but nobody else. If you want to make it public, then you have to go to the GitHub and change your visibility level to public explicitly. So I'm going to show you how you can run a private image from the GitHub, and then how to change your visibility to public, and then how to run a public image. But let's start with a private. To be able to run a private image, you need to log in first using the Podman to your container registry. And to do that, we execute command podman login, and we need to provide a username. In my case, it's anmalkov, and you also have to provide a password, which will be an access token. And then we need to say to the podman to which container registry we want to log in. And in my case, it's ghcr.io. I click enter, and as you can see, the login succeeded. And now Podman is ready to run my private image from my container registry. And to do that, I will search in my history for podman run command to not type again the same flags. We want to have the detached image Then I specify the cgroup manager, cgroupfs, events backend equals file. I map it to the port 8095, and I map this port to port 80 inside the container. And then I need to say to Podman from which container registry I want to take this image. And I say GitHub Container Registry, ghcr.io/anmalkov, and then simple app 4.000. I click enter, and as you can see, the image is successfully pulled out of my private registry, and also the container is up and running. And now I go to my browser and I type localhost 8095, and I see my application, which is 4.0.0. All right, I successfully run my private image. The next thing that I want to do, I want to change a visibility of my image to public. To do that, I go to the GitHub, github.com. I click on my repositories, click on packages, and here I see my simple app image. I click on simple app, and then I go to the package settings. You see, the GitHub says that this package is currently private. It allows me to change the visibility. But be careful, because if you change your visibility to public, then you will not be able to return it to a private anymore. So I changed my visibility level to public, and to confirm, it asked me to type simple app, and I click the button I understand the consequences. And now my image is public. To prove it, I go to my command line. Let's clear the screen. So I want to log out from my container registry using Podman. To do that, I type Podman logout ghcr.io, and as you can see, the Podman says that he removes the login credentials for this container registry. The next thing, let's check what containers are running now. Podman ps. And as you can see, we already run the container based on the 4.0.0 image. I want to stop it to be able to remove this image from my local cache. To do that, I'm executing podman rm-f. We need to force because the container is up and running. And now I need to type initial characters from the container ID to uniquely identify this container. For me, E7 is enough. So to check that it's gone, I execute the same command podman ps. And as you can see, we don't have 4.0.0 container anymore. Now, let's check what images do we have. Buildah images. Sorry, I misspelled. Let's try again. Buildah images. And as you can see, we have the 4.0.0 in our local cache. So I'm going to remove it, executing the command buildah rmi-f 22. The 22 is, again, initial characters of our image ID. And it's gone. Let's clear the screen and type buildah images again, just to check. So we have 2, we have 3, but we don't have 4 anymore. Again, let's search in my history. So I click Ctrl R, and then I type podman run. And this is the command that we recently executed. Again, let's use the same port because we stopped the container, so the port is free. And again, GitHub Container Registry IO. So actually everything is the same, but the only difference that we are not logged in right now to our container registry. I click enter, and it's successfully pulled an image and run the container. And again, to check it, I go to my browser and I type localhost 8095, and I click enter, and I see my application 4.0.0 is running. So we successfully run our public image from the GitHub. That's mainly it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Just want to remind you that if you have any questions, feedbacks, suggestions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can find all the links in the description to this video or in the About section of my channel. And please do subscribe. Thanks, and see you in episode 4.